Welcome grade 8 student. Today we will be discussing Introduction to Statistics. For today's lesson, you should be able to explain the importance of statistics and identify the different kinds of data. Let's discuss first what is statistics. Statistics is a branch of mathematics that deals with the collection, organization, and interpretation of data to address a certain phenomena. For example, your teacher wants to know who are the absents for today's class. He or she will do attendance checking. That is a form of statistics. There are two main words related to statistics. First one is population. Population is the set of all data under the study. Example, you want to have a study related to COVID-19 positive cases. Your population would be all the positive cases of COVID-19. When we say all, it covers the positive cases of COVID-19 in the Philippines, in Southeast Asia, in Asia, or in the whole world. That is population. Now, in contrary, we have a major word which is sample. Sample is the set of data drawn from the population. A best example of this is the positive cases of COVID-19 in Cavite. When we talk about population, we are referring to all the data under the study. But when we are talking about sample, we are just selecting data from the population. In this given example, we are talking about COVID-19 cases and we are referring only for the province of Cavite. Now let's identify whether the given example is population or sample. All the teacher in Statefield School. In this example, there is the word all. Automatically, that will be considered as population. Next, mathematics teacher in Statefield School. Mathematics teacher in Statefield School is a subcategory or a department in Statefield School, therefore, it is just a sample. Mathematics teacher in Statefield School is a sample. That's how it is to identify population and sample. How about in this given problem? For a certain study focusing on all grade 8 students, Miss Rihanna wanted to get one representative only from each section in grade 8 level due to limited resources. In this situation, what is the population and the sample? I'll give you 10 seconds, pause the video, and I will reveal the answer onwards. The population in this given problem are all grade 8 students, and the sample is one representative from each section. So by means of this, we identify what is the population and what is the sample on a given problem. Now let's discuss the two major branches of statistics. The first one is descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics is a branch of statistics that summarizes and describes important characteristics of the population or a sample. It uses percentage and averages. So later, let's discuss or let's identify whether the given example is descriptive or statistics. But before that, let's identify what is inferential statistics. Inferential statistics is used to draw conclusions, make predictions, and make decisions about the characteristics of a population by looking at the information contained in a sample. We can easily identify whether the statistics used is inferential if it uses statistical treatment. What are the statistical treatments? We have t-test, ANOVA, one-paired t-test, independent sample t-test, and the like. Now let's identify given these examples. Identify whether the following is descriptive statistics or inferential statistics. First one, 20% of the class are using cell phone in the online class. In this given example, it uses 20%. 20% is under descriptive statistics because it just describes the population, which is the whole class. Next, example. Boys are significantly smarter than girls in terms of math subjects. This example is under inferential statistics because it uses the word significant. How do we know that a problem or a particular variable is significant? When we use a statistical treatment like what I mentioned earlier. Our next example is this one. Majority of the students in 8C are girls. Majority can be a percent or part of a whole. Therefore, it is under descriptive because it describes the students or how many students are there in 8C. That's how easy it is to identify whether the problem is descriptive or inferential. Now, let's discuss statistical instruments. Statistical instruments are the devices used by the researchers to gather data. Best examples of this are the following. We have the survey questionnaires, rating scales, and interview questions. There are two kinds of statistical instruments. First one is the research completed instrument. These are the statistical instruments used specifically by a researcher. Best example is interview guides and observation forms. Interview guides and observation forms are the things used by the researcher while conducting a study. Another type of statistical instrument is subject completed instrument. These are instruments which are to be filled by the subject of the study. Examples are aptitude tests and self-assessment. The best example of this is when we are collecting MI forms or multiple intelligence forms to you. You are the one who is filling it up. That's why it is called subject completed instrument. Now let's identify among the following which are subject or research completed instrument. First one is interview. Interview is done by the researcher, therefore it is research completed instrument. Next example, MI form or multiple intelligence form. Students are the one who filled up this form, therefore it is under subject completed instrument. Next, self checklist. We have here a clue which is the word self. Therefore, the subject under the study is the one who is checking whether this description suits to him. Therefore, it is under subject completed instrument. Our last example is survey questionnaire. Survey questionnaire came from the researcher, therefore it is research completed instruments. That's how easy it is to identify whether the tools used by the researcher is subject or research completed instrument. Now let's move with the types of data. We have two types of data. First one is the ungrouped data and the second one is group data. Ungrouped data are the raw data. For example, here I have a picture of different kinds of fruits. And then when we want to organize our data, it could be in the form of table. So particularly, group data is presented using table. So I will just write down the categories, which are the names of these fruits, and then write down the frequency of each category. example, there are 4 apples in this given picture. There are 2 bananas in this given picture. There are 3 grapes in this picture. By simply making a table, it will be under group data. We also have types of data. First one is the primary data and the secondary data. It's very easy. When we say primary data, it is the data directly gathered by the researcher, while secondary data are the data collected by reading the researcher of other researchers or using books. Now let's identify which of the following are primary or secondary data. History. This is under secondary data because history can be found in books or in journals. Others may be found in video form. How about interview? Interview is under primary data because you are the one who is conducting the interview. Discussion. Discussion happens in real time. Therefore, it is under primary data. And lastly, a dictionary. Dictionary is a secondary hand data because it is a form of books wherein students or teachers or other people may use to find a definition. I want you now to access your Quipper questions for a simple assessment. Thank you and goodbye.